Oh, there you have it. All right, I'll put the timer on. Let me just move this. Hi, everyone. For everyone who's joined so far, we'll get started shortly. I'll just give everyone a few more minutes to get on because I do realize it's lunchtime. Here we go. I'm going to show you our new feature. Fun fact, if you're presenting in Canva, you can press between the 1 and the 9 on your keyboard and it will start a timer for that amount of time. And you can also add tunes. So to get everyone going, I'm going to pick energetic and we'll give everyone 3 minutes. Bit much?
That is energetic.
Maybe we can do dramatic instead. Maybe just upbeat. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. We're going to kick off in about 2 minutes. Feel up to it. Feel free to pop your name down in the chat. Let us know where you're from. Oh, shame. Thanks for letting us know. I don't know if the Walkleys team, if you're able to allow chat, that would be really helpful. Thanks. Cool. Well, I guess we'll get started. Let me get rid of that. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate you all spending your lunch hour with us today. I do realise that the chat's been disabled. I'm going to get the Walkleys team onto that. But to kick us off, welcome to the Amplify Your Social Media Presence with Canva webinar. This has been designed for journalists looking to enhance their social media skills. And today we're going to explore how journalists can leverage Canva's features to create compelling social media content. So that's things from your static posts to short form videos with speed, ease, and brand consistency. And you're going to hear me talk about those 3 beats quite a lot. To kick us off, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Diana Abeleven, and I co-lead the Newsroom and Journalism Initiative here at Canva. And I'm joined today by my colleague, Jonathan Harley. Now, if you've been in the journalism game for a hot minute, you might recognise my partner in crime, being an ex-journo himself for the ABC and 60 Minutes. But together, we're striving to empower journalists on a global scale. Over to you, JH, to give us a bit of an intro.
Hi, everyone. Thanks, Di. Hi, everyone. Great to see you all on this Thursday lunchtime, and just really excited to get through this session. Look, I think just to frame it, it's always really, it's a natural reaction to look abroad to see how other news leaders are using products and innovating, and there's a bunch of that stuff that informs what we do. But the reality is the journalists and newsrooms in Australia have led in this space, right? When we started this work nearly 4 years ago, we started with Australian news businesses, whether it's the mighty established ones like the ABCs and the Nines and the SBSs, or the smaller up-and-coming innovative ones like the Daily Oz. And we see a ton of journalists and a ton of newsrooms and a ton of news businesses. And we can hand on heart say that the leading innovative work is starting right here in Australia. So this session today, led by Di, is really giving you those tools to not only talk to that audience piece and talk to your audience and grow it, but also to innovate in ways that are incredibly easy to do and impactful to do, because we see time and again that the results in audience growth and engagement, when you bring Canva into the mix, are really profound. So looking forward to this next session. Back to you, Di.
Thanks so much. All right, so here's the plan. All going well, I'm going to yabber on for about 40-45 minutes, covering some of our latest developments, our tips and tricks, and then leave some time at the end for a bit of a wrap up and some Q&A. So please, by all means, pop all the questions that you have in the Q&A. When I'm talking, JH is going to be monitoring that, and we'll jump on and answer as much as we can. And if there's time at the end, I'll address as many of them as I possibly can. So let's get started, hey? The last 18 months has been an absolute rocket ship for us here at Canva, so much so that we're actually celebrating our 10th birthday Friday week on the 25th of August. But you need to go back to 2012 to understand why Canva was founded and the overarching problem that we're trying to solve. Our mission from the very start has been to empower the world to design, and that's to empower everyone to design anything, every ingredient, every language, and on every device. And historically speaking, design used to be complicated and hard. These tools were fragmented and often only available to the pros. I myself, from a strategic comms perspective, are very familiar with all of these tools. I could never go on holiday because I would be the one with the specific skill set to be able to unpack what was needed, from finding templates, securing fonts, finding photography, using these programs, finding a way to publish them, finding a way to distribute it en masse. It was absolutely diabolically hard. Too many steps, and more often than not, cost a bucket load of money. And so now the entire design ecosystem has been integrated into one simple page. And it's been popular. We've made progress. We have over 135 million people using Canva every single month. That's over 200 designs created every second. And some of the world's leading media organizations are powered by Canva. So why has it been so successful though? Because it's a visual economy and we're all visual journalists. With the rise of digital media and that funny old thing called digital transformation, and the increasing importance of engaging audiences in a saturated market, Canva makes it easier for you to adapt to this shift. Because it is by far the fastest way to create, manage, and deliver content and information with speed, ease, and brand consistency. The collaborative nature and the ease of use of Canva allows us to meet news needs, but also able to package our stories in a visual way for readers and meet them in places where they're at. That's from our friend Elizabeth at USA Today. She also refers to Canva as her visual CMS. It's USA Today's go-to for all their visual assets for any digital platform. So why else, though, is Canva the tool of choice? Because it's incredibly accessible and it has a really low barrier to entry. It's available in 100 languages, including 5 right to left ones, which is fabulous for those media orgs who are focusing on world news or those doing local or hyperlocal content for their communities. We're available in over 190 countries, and Canva is device agnostic. It doesn't matter if you're using it on the web, on the app, on your desktop, mobile, or tablet, Canva works. But you don't need to just take my word for it. You've got media outlets like USA Today really earning their straps when it comes to using Canva in their socials, as I alluded to with Elizabeth just moments ago. You just need to check out their results. So in 12 months, they had an 18% growth on Instagram and more than 1 million TikTok followers. Then you've got media conglomerates like Hearst, where their newsrooms are using Canva for breaking news, listicles, explainers, reels, TikToks, and more. Instagram was the main platform I think they were using in the hopes that Canva would be able to help them with. And I think it's been a home run. They mentioned something about impressions are up 45% year on year. I think engagement's up 58%. Video views are up 165%. But most telling of all has been the growth. So their net audience growth is up 540% year on year. It's just mind-blowing. And then if you want to have a look a little closer to home, where you've got some journos that are being real innovators as well, check out the feed. Their Instagram feed was quite text heavy in style, was messy, was inconsistent. Plus, it took them a ton of time to pull all the content together because it was crafted bespoke every single time, which meant that the margin of error and the inaccuracies from a brand or content perspective were increasing. So then came Canva, right? And they did a glow up. They worked with their in-house designers to move away from the orange and black that was traditionally, the feed, created consistent but flexible style that aimed to have more impact and less text. And the winner here is that they templatized it. So the result, their website click-through rates improved tenfold and they achieved a 36% growth rate. So nothing to sneeze at when we start having a look at some really hardcore statistics. And the fact of the matter is that Canva's social media tools are just one part of Canva's visual work suite. Canva has everything your team needs to create visual content. With one platform, you can power all your visual communication needs. So next, I'm going to play a little hype reel to show you what we launched earlier in the year at Canva Create. And then I'll jump into the product and show you how you can start using these features to amplify your social media content. Let's see if this plays. I got to say, we love a good hype reel here at Canva. So I hope you enjoyed the tunes and the content as much as we did pulling that together. So it gives you a little taste as to what we can do to help you up your social game. So I'll consider this webinar a success if 1, you learn something new. 2, you feel empowered to design authentic scroll-stopping videos, posts, stories for every platform that you're active on. And if you didn't know this already, here's a hot tip. You can also plan, create, schedule, publish, and track social media content all from Canva. But first up, I want to talk about branding your social. As Scott Gamble, head of social at the ABC, had said previously on a conversation, in a fragmented media environment where people get their news and information from all kinds of platforms and sources, your brand is your most powerful asset. So you could be your local town's or the nation's most trusted media organization, but that only helps if people know the content is yours in the first place. Or if they can see your content and recall it correctly enough times so that they can build trust with you if they didn't already know who you were. So that said, I'm going to jump out, stop sharing my screen and jump out so we can do a bit of a live demo. While I'm doing that, JH, I'm going to pass to you and feel free to add some more commentary.
Sure, Di, thanks. While you reset, let me just check a technical thing. Is the chat actually working? I'm just says to hear host and panels, whether Walkleys, it says it's been enabled, but maybe just to call out if we could just check that, because I'm not seeing any chat. It's enabled. Great. Okay, now it's working. Fantastic. So while Di's just resetting, brilliant. Greetings. Obviously, there's a breadth of understanding, there's a breadth of knowledge of the product. So what we're really trying to do is give you a framework for understanding how to go about it, how to go about problem solving. And what you'll find is that framework's really consistent across the product, whether it's for social, whether it's for motion, whether it's for video assets, data visualization, etc. So keep that in mind, that once you kind of crack social as a way in, you'll find the workflow is really similar and consistent. Di, back to you.
Thank you so much. Couldn't find the unmute button. What a surprise.
That old thing.
That old thing. All right. So can we see the editor?
Yeah, all good.
Fab. All right. So I'm going to start with basics just for a second, because I think assumption is the mother of all you-know-whats. There might be people on this call who are completely new to Canva, but there also might be people who are experts and are very familiar, but I think you might learn a thing or two. So just quickly, because I'm quite conscious of time and I've already chewed through 20 minutes, is that this is your logged in homepage, right? So when you sign up to Canva, this is what your homepage looks like. And mine is going to look very different from what yours is, because this is my personal environment. So every time you log in, all you see is what yours is. It's not open for your whole entire team to see. So up here, we call these doc types from docs, whiteboards, presentations, social media, video, print products, website. We refer to these as doc types, and that just gives you a category in which to start designing. So because we're here for social media, I can click on social media and it will start to populate all the different types of assets that you might need for the channels in which you're working on. But the one thing that is the same for everyone is this main panel up here and the panel on the left-hand side here. So I would like to also, before I jump into brand, I want to show you a couple more things here. Here, your upload button, you can upload just about anything that you need to start designing. So from images, you've got your JPEGs, PNGs, WebPs. I don't even know what a HEIC is. You've got your videos, and you've got your files. So PDFs, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Illustrator. You can upload them straight into the product and start utilizing or modifying or redesigning, whatever the case may be. You can go for it. Also, don't forget here that you've got your search bar. This search bar, whether it's a project that you've already worked on or it's something, a template that you're looking for to start inspired, you just type away. So if I'm to type in, and I can't type, if I was to type in newsrooms, press search, up comes hundreds, if not thousands of templates that are available to you so you can start designing. But let me just start, and I'm going to go back to the homepage. And I left the presentation talking about brand, and let's dive into it here. So brand on the left-hand side. As you can see here, we have a brand kit. So 3N is like a dummy media outlet name that we've created here at Canva. And within this, if I click through, I have my logos, I have my colors, I have my fonts, and you can add photos, graphics, and icons. All things which would be pulled together to develop your brand identity as a journalist or as a media outlet. It doesn't matter. It can be applicable to both. The other beautiful part of it is that if you go back, you can add new ones. So if I wanted to add one for a campaign, or perhaps I'm like someone like the SBS where they've got, I think, about 14 different brands that they service, they each have their own unique brand kit here to be able to empower their team to design on-branded content. One tip I will say that I learned just the other day actually is when you upload your logos, upload them as SVG files, and it allows you to change the color of them as per your brand guidelines rather than uploading every variation that you might have of your logo. So if it's a black one, if it's a white one, if it's a translucent one, if it's a green, it doesn't matter. If you do it as an SVG, you don't need to have multiple duplications in there. And another thing I would say that if you have a look at your brand kit and you see your logo with a white box around it or a black box, and it's not supposed to be there, it means that you've probably uploaded it as a JPEG. And I would highly encourage you to delete that and upload it as a PNG or as an SVG file, just so that it comes with a transparent background when you apply it to a design. So also part of our brand kit is we've got brand controls. These controls allow you to safeguard your brand, especially if you've got members of your team who just need to push out content at speed. You can make sure and safeguard that their work gets all the ticks of approval from a brand custodian perspective. So you've got your color control. So if you toggle this on and off, it means that what was stipulated in the brand kit from a color perspective is the only color palette that they can work with when it comes to designing assets in Canva. Same with fonts. So they can't go rogue and start doing big block heavy text when everything's supposed to be Arial or Times New Roman. Totally spitballing here, but you get the idea. And then design approval is also really interesting workflow to help those who maybe need a second set of eyes on every asset that gets developed. So for instance, you have an intern create a whole bunch of things for you, rather than downloading them or publishing them straight to the channel that they're in. Before they even do anything like that, they can send it to you for approval all within Canva, and then you can review, approve, provide feedback, request changes, all within the product, so that there is no need to jump in and out to get what you need done. And then finally, we've got brand templates. So as you can see here, we have quite a collection of templates that our design team have created on our behalf that are on brand based on the brand kit that we've created. So this means that if I was to click on one of them, let's click on this one, I can see here that I can edit the original, but that's only because I'm an admin of the team and I have full rights to all of these. But someone who's just a member of your team, all they will see is use this template, which means that you don't have to recreate the wheel every time that you're trying to push content out to market. It means that you will be able to just, by pressing this button, you are duplicating the main version. So the original is never going to get butchered and everything will stay exactly how you left it. So because we're talking about all things social, I would quickly jump in and show you what a branded one would look like. So as you can see here, it's a breaking news card. I've got my logo. There's a video here that I can probably delete, and see how we've got this little beautiful sky and green grass. This is considered a frame, and a frame is where you can drag anything from the Elements tab into it and it will automatically match. So for instance, I've got this really cute little photograph here of one of the images that's actually trending in Canva at the moment. I think it's quite sweet. I like the color coordination of it. But then you can drag and drop. You can update your news. You can write whatever you want in here. Maybe they're 110-year-old couple living their best lives. Now, I'm not overly happy with the positioning of that, so I can change it. But what's really interesting here is that I can lock this element. So at this moment, these templates, they give you full flexibility to move things around. But maybe when I share this with a junior team member or someone else, I can lock the position, which means that that text will always stay there. So they can't move it on top of the image. They can't do anything, but they can update the text. The other version that you can do, oh, I'm locking it all the time here, is you can lock all of it. So it means that the text can never change and they can't move anything there. Same goes with a logo. I would hate to see someone start butchering it and moving the logo over here or up here when it should be here. So I can get this nicely aligned, right click, lock it in place, and that's it. No one else can unlock that except for me. Now, if I have a look on the brand tab on the left-hand side here, this is where you find the application of your brand kit in the editor. So if I'm not overly happy with this look and feel, maybe I'm going to use the shuffle tool here to mix it up a bit and see if there's another variation that I might like to see. Cute. All right. You get the idea. So when it comes to using branded templates, the world's your oyster. You can be as controlled or as free as you like when it comes to empowering your team. But now, rather than jumping into that, because I think this could be a session all on its own, I'll start to unpack some cool things that you can do with static. So let's jump out of here. I might close this one down. If you've got any questions, please, by all means, pop them in the chat. I'm not keeping across it. So Jono, any questions so far?
It's whisper quiet, suggesting that
quiet, my goodness. Maybe everyone's too busy shoving their face full of food.
No, it tells me that you're meeting all of their creative and visual journalism needs, Di.
Is that what it is? Great, thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Let me just give you a moment to catch your breath, and just on those element blocks. Remember, the partial lock and the full lock are so effective as a way of thinking of it. Partial locks is what you're going to use when you want to keep those elements in place but change the text, and the full lock is just the gold for elements that won't change within themselves. So as Di said, the logos, it could be a strap. So for example, like that breaking news, you had the red strap, you could full lock that. So you start to get that architecture absolutely in place, but you get the adjustability around the text changing as per story. It's a really great distinction, and that's an easy way of thinking about it. Where do you create the template to start with, asks Sarah.
It's a great question, Sarah. I will put a pin in that one because that's a great idea. So actually, no, I won't. I'll do it really quickly right now because I can't help myself. So if I go back to the home page here, Where is a design that I just did? Let me refresh. Okay, here we go. So whilst this was based off a team, pre-existing Teams template, say that you want to templatize this one moving forward, you simply go to the share button on the top right-hand side up here, and you can click brand template. So if I click that, I can add it to my brand templates, and it gives me a warning here to let me know that there are locked elements in this design, which personally, if I'm starting to decentralize this and give it to people who may not be as brand conscious as myself, I'm not removing them. So then you simply go publish. And there you go. So I could copy this. And if I was to just put that in the URL, it'll come up with a template's been created by myself, and you can start designing straight away. But remember, those locks will still be in place, but you can lift and shift the content. Does that answer your question?
That's great, Di. And Preja's asking, is there any merit in highlighting the text, as in highlighting keywords in a sentence? To which my response to that is absolutely, if that fits within the style guide. It's going to be informed by the kind of the strategic style guide that the brand's been set. But most importantly, that functionality is here in Canva, whether it's a color highlight, whether you want to give a style shift there. I think as Di was showing, you can give weight or shadow to a particular word. You might want to put a background behind it, which I think is what, look at that, Di go, fantastic. Or you might want to animate some of those elements as well. So if you wanted to put some motion into that whole line or some of the lines, or even, there you go, motion into that element. Wow, we're bouncing out of the bottom right-hand corner. Is that an effect, bounce out of the bottom right-hand corner?
Yeah.
And now Di's animating. Over to you.
Sorry. You give me an inch, I don't take a mile. But look, please keep these questions coming, because I like to have a dialogue, even though it's just via chat. But this is, if it helps unpack the product a little bit more for you all, then I'm down for it every day of the week. I will quickly jump in now and show you. So I've showed you this home screen before. I want to start inspired. So if I have a look at newsrooms, now I want to, maybe I will show you what our magic design feature looks like. So this is where, if you've got an asset already and you're not sure how you want to portray said asset, so maybe you've got a photo. So I uploaded one the other day of the Tillies, and I am going to upload that. It's going to start searching. Fingers crossed this works for me. Let it load. It's being a little bit slow. And then if I go, okay, I want this for an Instagram post. And it will start to populate some options for me based on the image that I've used. So if I have a look here, again, it's all about starting inspired. You know what, I'm going to change the style because I don't like the style of that. So why don't we have a look along here? Maybe this one. Nice and bright, looking pretty good. Okay, cool. So maybe I'll pick one of these. So you can start with any of these. This is totally fine. But if you want to do, what else? Out of all of these, like I think there are, last count, I think there's maybe 1,000 different newsroom templates available to you. But the fun fact is that they've been used over 20 million times since 2020. I nearly fell on the floor when I saw this the other day. It's great. Canva offers you access to the biggest content library on earth. So from images, videos, illustrations, fonts, you name it. You have everything that you need to start creating really engaging content. And if that's not good enough, you can drag and drop your own stuff. So if you find an image in Google or off your own platform, you literally can just Control-C it from there, Control-V it into here, and it will start automatically upload that across there for you so you can start designing. So let's have a look here. Maybe I will do this post. This post looks nice and generic for me to use. I'll give that a whirl, and I'll show you some of our new AI features that you might find really useful. So maybe I'm actually going to duplicate this one. So up here, you've got your duplicate tab, and I want to talk about flowers. Let's have a look. What have we got in the elements tab for flowers? I want a vase of flowers. Okay, I want an image. This one's cute. All right, if I want to bring this to the front as well, so layers. If you're familiar with design, you'll be familiar with layers. You want to bring this to the front. Alternatively, you can click position on the top here, and you can actually click layers. And this will allow you, it'll easily showcase where all the layers are hidden within that design so that you have full functionality and you can edit and move the things that you need to. So now that I've showed you that, let me just edit this photo. So we've got background remover, which I think is probably one of the most used tools in Canva. No longer is deep etching a thing, so you can do that. Or how about we do magic edit? So I'm going to make this a lot bigger because I don't have time to sit there and do it all small. But say I don't like these flowers, and just think of the applications that you can use this in your own business. I'm just trying to keep it very generic for the moment. I want to replace those with red roses. And let's see what happens. Perfect. You know what? I want a really big bunch. So you've got a couple of options that it's populated here for you. You press done, and then all of a sudden you've got that image that you need to talk about. So I don't want tomatoes. I want to talk about roses. I'm going to bring some things up to the fore. And I should have disclosed this at the very beginning, but I'm not a designer at all. I'm also not a journalist. So forgive me if my news reporting skills are a bit subpar and my design skills are subpar, but it's to give you an idea. Great. All right. Fabulous. Moving on. What else is next that I can show you?
Let me just respond to
a question, please.
Question from Michelle. Tips on getting images off the web and copyright. Would never provide any tips on copyright outside of the Canva environment. However, if anything that you design in Canva, so any of the images you use from our stock library or any of the elements, anything that is created in Canva is covered by copyright. And then, of course, for editorial images, that'll be covered by, your own agency agreement. We're doing a lot of work on getting more and more elements and components inside the editor to give you a richer palette. For example, thanks, Saffron. Good on you. See you soon. And that you're just going to see more and more. So, for example, we've just announced a partnership with Warner Music, where we're going to be seeing the Warner library making its way in so that you're getting commercial tracks or about the parts of commercial tracks inside the editor. So watch this space. Di, do you want to maybe, I'm not sure quite what you've got planned, but I wondered maybe some video transitions might be.
Absolutely. That was going to be my next tip. I just wanted to show you really quickly one other editing, like photo editing tool. So I showed you this image before. Magic Eraser, I'm finding a lot of journos are loving this, especially if you can't get that perfect shot and you just need to remove that background, or maybe just like a small person in the back. I don't know, but they do use it quite a lot. And I just thought this Magic Eraser tool, let's remove her frame. It's going to ask me to do it in a couple of bundles.
While that's thinking, where I find Magic Eraser to be really, really useful is if you need to create some space for copy. That's where I use it. If I've got an image that I really like, but for example, the right-hand window in this image, I needed to create, a blank wall there.
Mm-hmm.
That sort of effect is really, really helpful, just to declutter an element of the shot to be able to put text on.
And I will also add to that, Jono, that's a great shout, but towards the end of the year, we'll also have a new feature coming out called Canva Expand. So I don't know if you've ever been given like a really short or a cropped portrait shot, but you actually need that extra space on the side. Soon you'll be able to do that. The AI will be able to do that within Canva for you, to give you that extra space for copy or to make it work better in a horizontal landscape. It's pretty exciting times. Okay, so over to video. I will do one pretty quickly just to give you all a very top line idea. So if I'm to look at like TikTok videos, maybe not that for media, because we don't seem to have all that many of them. Room for improvement there, Jono.
Yeah. Well, you could even build on the Insta story you were using earlier.
Yeah. Or I could just quickly show you what I've prepared earlier.
Great. This one is, I've just sort of seen in the Q&A, MP Singh's keen to see this, so that's great.
Yep, great, fabulous. So I've actually created a folder in Canva specifically for this, and I can show you how to do that offline. But I've uploaded a whole heap of assets to this that I wanted to create a content on, so I don't lose it all. Whenever I upload things in Canva, sometimes it can, in my personal one, I'll have rolls and rolls and rolls of content. This just makes filing a lot easier for me. So say we want to do something for the Tillies, the first one's going to be this shot. Maybe the next one is going to be so proud of the Matildas. We'll make that a bit bigger. Maybe the next slide is going to be some vision from the stadium. Maybe the next one is about the community going absolutely bonkers. So maybe if we're talking short form content here, on the top right, you can see without having edited anything, we're sitting at 39.9 seconds. So if I want to really trim that down, I can click this one and I can either move it so I can cut it so it starts earlier, or I can cut it back so it finishes earlier, or I can even split the page so it will split it straight down the middle, and I can add different assets at different times to suit this. Now with this one, if I press play, I can keep the tunes going, or if I wanted to mute it, I could, and I just quickly press that button up there, but I might keep it in there for the vibe of it. This one, I might just trim a little bit because it probably doesn't hold much value seeing the pitch, the empty pitch. Let's get the crowd. Let's push it back a little bit here so we're still just getting the crowd going wild. Maybe we have some more text here. I could just duplicate this one, move it across, delete that. And maybe I did have another video here. I might upload it if I haven't already. Oh, the videos are here. I've got one from my own children actually celebrating at school, and I have obviously this, but super cute. If I was to just trim that on either side, I'm definitely going to remove the sound on that because that can be ear piercing at the best of times. Now I want to start to add audio bed. So if I go to my elements and I click down the bottom here and I can click audio, I want something that's a celebration. So I can pick, let's have a look. What's this one sound like? Not sure, maybe this one. You were the best I ever. Yep, let's do that one. I'll move that audio bed to here. I can extend it as far as I want. So if I don't want it to start at the very beginning, I can just simply chop and change as required. I can also add another audio bed on top of that if required. I'll show you quickly what that looks like. You can drop the music there. They can play over the top of each other, or you can chop and change with different transitions, which I'll get to. With this audio bed, you can see where it starts to crescendo. We can move that so that we're getting to the real climax of the music. In the middle between each of these different sections, here you've got your transitions. So your transitions is going from one slide to the next. You can do dissolve, slide, line wipe. I personally love the match and move. And you can save some time and apply it between all your pages. So it takes a lot of the hard work out. What are we sitting at? 30 seconds. I still think that we can trim this down a little bit. This one definitely, because copy is boring. But maybe while I do that, I need to animate some other parts. So if I want to animate the copy here, the create animation is one of our newest features, which I showed you before, which actually follows your cursor where you want it to go, and it will apply itself there. You can make it smooth, you can make it steady, you can change the speed as required and press done. Excuse me. This one, I didn't think we needed the volume on that one, so I'll get rid of that. And now we've got our audio bed. Now, because we've got how many slides? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Wouldn't it be easier if we could get the audio to match the theme of what was unfolding from a graphics perspective? Funny, I should say that. You can do beat sync now in Canva. So if you right click and then click on the sync now, you will actually see the audio bed change to suit what was happening with the graphics up above. So if we're to have a quick preview of this, it goes for 19 seconds.
Surrounding me, picking up fight, it's toxic. You were the best I ever had, but every second you were screwing me over, and now I'm done with it. I guess that there was no surprise, deleting you out of my...
There you go. And it ended rather abruptly. So maybe we need to have a look at our audio effects, and maybe we want to fade out for the last 3 seconds so that when it plays, at least you can tell that it's coming to an end. Maybe you want your logo at the end. Entirely up to you. But as I said, I'm not a designer. And if I can pull this together in a couple of minutes, then you absolutely can too. And that's why when speed is your currency in the journalism world, this is the perfect tool in which to be able to do what you need to. Now, are there any questions? Because I feel like I just word vomited all of that out.
No, that's great. I had a couple here that I can share. There's a question about uploading music from Emily. Emily, yes, you can upload your own music in the same way you can upload photos or videos. And we'll also share with everyone, just because Susan was just saying wanted to get some basics as well. We'll also follow up by sharing the Canva for Journalists YouTube series and some other basic stuff for those that need to go back or want to go back and fill in some of the gaps there. And Corinne is asking, do you have audio, fade, and mix tools available or on the roadmap? It's common to bring in more than one track on vertical nowadays, and they can come in at different volumes. Di.
Yes, look, that's definitely on the roadmap. I would say that we're not, the audio specifically is not that sophisticated just yet to do all of those different blendings, but it's definitely on the team's roadmap.
But there are multiple tracks. You can have
there are definitely multiple tracks, and you can upload your own audio. You can even record live. So for instance, let me just quickly show you. If I was to upload, maybe I wanted to record myself because I'm doing a personal bulletin. As you can see, there's my ugly mug down the bottom here. I can give myself all of the filters that Instagram gives me. I can change the shape of it. I can actually flick my camera around. So if I don't know, if you're presenting from a table and someone's doing this on your behalf, and you can apply that to your video as well. So you're not having to, it's just a bit different from having like a basic audio bed available for you. One other thing that is really popular, which I didn't talk to, but was background remover for video as well. So if I was to have a look really quickly for, in the theme of soccer player, let's see what videos we've got. For instance, we've got this one. If I edit this video and I do the background remover, it'll take the video, the background behind it, and maybe I want to superimpose something else. So maybe I want a stadium, but a photo of a stadium. So something like that can go in the background. And I'll put that to the back, make that bigger. And there's lots of different things that you can do. There's currently 25,000 pre-licensed audio tracks available in the product. And as Jono mentioned earlier, we've just signed a deal with Warner Music. So that means the likes of, Ed Sheeran, Cher, Kylie Minogue, like all of those amazing pop stars, their content will also now be available in product as well.
Emily also asked about extracting music from video to add to another video. No, we don't have that functionality in Canva. No. But if you can extract it from another app or tool and then upload it, that would be a really easy and quick workaround.
Absolutely. There is one thing that you can do, which doesn't necessarily help with that. But if you've got a MOV file, a GIF file, MPEG, an MKV, and a WebM file, and you need to convert them to MP4s, you can upload those to Canva and they will export as MP4s for you, which I found were really, really handy. Yeah, I think that's it in that instance. If there's no more questions about video, I'll quickly show you what our content planner looks like. So on the app section from your homepage on the left-hand side, you'll see our content planner. And if you click on that, remember how I said at the very beginning, how you can plan, design, schedule, publish, and track all of your social media content. Well, if you do it through the scheduler, you can do that. These little ones here, they're not ones that I've added. They're just default ones that you'll find in the product anyways. Our social team just likes to, again, keep you inspired with different things you can talk to. But it's very simple. You literally click the plus button, you pick the design that you want to schedule, you pick the channel that you want it to, so you can connect your own social channels to there. Write your caption, write your hashtags, schedule or save it as a draft, and your entire team, like a Hootsuite sort of platform, can jump in and start scheduling your content. So that's really about it. Allow me to quickly, I can present that full screen. We've gone through some other Q&As. Is there anything else?
Is there video on file footage from Jenna? I'm not quite sure what that means, Jenna. Any more context you can provide there? There's a video stock library in the same way that there's a stills stock library, and you can obviously bring file footage from your newsroom or whatever. But I'm just not quite sure I understand the question. Forgive me. Standing by for any more context.
That's fine. While we're waiting, I've just put up on the screen. Please let me know if you can see it. But for all of you that don't currently have access to Canva Pro, our gift to you, please enjoy 3 months. You simply have to go to canva.com/gift, type in the code, which is Canva for journos. Please note it is case sensitive, so do it all in caps. If you have any questions, concerns, queries moving forward, that is my email address. I'm more than happy to support you with whatever I possibly can. And also, Jono mentioned the Canva for Journalists playlist on YouTube. You will find everything that you need here. It's a new landing page that we've just created especially for journalists. So if you follow that QR code, it'll jump to our new website, which will show you all the work that we're doing in this space, as well as a whole bunch of resources available to you to really empower you to do your best work. And I've got 4 minutes to spare.
Yeah, that's right. Wow, fantastic. Thanks, Di, and thanks everyone. Sarah's just saying, like your current image, how do you generate those sort of images rather than photographs? Will this session be available to re-watch? It is
yes, it's being recorded.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Absolutely being recorded.
I'm not sure where it will be to be rewatched, but I'm sure our friends at the Walkleys can help us with that. Today's session will be available on Walkley Foundation social channels. Cool. Okay. Well, I think that's a wrap.
I think that's a wrap too. Sorry, Jenna's just mentioned I can't find the video stock library. Let me just show you where you can find it. So if you go on your elements tab here on the left-hand side, elements is like the ingredients. You know how we said at the beginning that Canva is empowering you to design anything with every ingredient? Well, these ingredients are here. You can either click video here, you can click up the top here and find videos, and then you can start searching. Please let me know if that doesn't work for you, Jenna. And is there a Canva course that we can take to have a certificate? There's plenty of courses you can take. We've got a number of tutorials available on Canva, not Canva Design School, Canva Learn. If you go up to the top here, you can go have a look at Design School. You can have a look at the blog. The Design School is really cool. It goes through a whole bunch of things for beginners, so you can start that course. There's ones for nonprofits. It's really, really handy resource to have. In fact, as a Canvanaut, I do it myself all the time. Is there a reason GIFs can only be created in a square format? I actually don't know the answer to that question. I will take that on notice, Jack.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. Well, thanks, Di.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate your time this Thursday lunch. Thanks, JH. And I hope you all can go and enjoy the sunshine. If you're based here in Sydney, it's a spectacular day.
Thanks, everyone. See you soon and keep creating cool stuff.
Thanks, everyone.
See ya.
Bye.